Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. No matter where you're calling from, as always, it's great to see you in today's session. For those of you who I've not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name's Mike. I'm one of the co-founders here at Waybook. And I say who I've not had the pleasure of meeting. I did actually scan the list of people that registered for this event. I'm excited for the amount of people that are familiar names that are continuously coming back. So if this is not your first time, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us. If this is, then hopefully you're in good hands. You'll come back again like everybody else, which is great. So I'm Mike, as I mentioned. I'm one of the co-founders here at Waybook, and this genuinely is one of my favorite things to do in the months. This is our Waybook product update. And this is where we like to take about 30 minutes or so just to share with you what is new in your Waybook accounts and also what is coming up in the next few weeks. And part of that is just to make sure you can stay on the bleeding edge of making sure you're getting the most out of your Waybook. And also, it's great for us because we absolutely love to hear from you, hear what more value you'd like to get, what other requests you have, and also get some opinions and thoughts on things that we are working on. So there's a few ways to kind of get in touch and keep in touch with us on today's session. We do, of course, have the chat. So please feel free to say hello and tell us who you are, where you're calling from. By the look of the list, we've got quite a few people from lots of different places. We also have the fantastic Sophia, who is in the chat and can now message. And she'll be there to answer any thoughts or questions you've got. We also have the Q&A. So if you've got any thoughts or questions, do put that in the Q&A or the chat. I'll keep my eyes amongst all of this so we can keep this as conversational as you possibly can when it comes to a one-to-many webinar. But thank you again for joining us. I know a few more people are still coming in now, so hello, hello. And let's just get this show on the road. It's February. If you blinked, then you might have missed January. I know it normally goes slow, but for me at least, it absolutely flew by. And here we are on Valentine's Day together. So happy Valentine's Day, happy February, and let's get going. So there's a few things that have been going out in your account to make sure that your single source of truth with Waybook is as effective as it possibly can be. And what we're going to cover in today's session is tasks in flows. It will make more sense soon. If you think you know what that tasks in flows is, it's very good. We're just about to release it in your accounts. So by the end of this session, it will be in your accounts. Confirmation steps, which is a slight play or an addition into the types of documents we can have within your Waybook. We have a new addition to our test completion report. And we also have a bit of an optimization about how you add members if you're adding members individually. And also the ability to embed or edit our embeds. And then finally, just a recap on something that we launched last month, or it was a pre-launch last month with a feature called Shots, which is essentially our SOP capture tool. So the ability for you to literally do the work you're trying to show someone and delegate, and it will just capture and share that information as you click through. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into tasks in flows. What is this? What am I even talking about when I say tasks in flows? This is very Waybook lingo here. So the further you are in, the more you will know this. So as you all know, that within your Waybook, we kind of create your structure to be your single source of truth. And this single source of truth, the order of your knowledge largely maps to the structure of the knowledge within your organization. It's normally in functional areas or departmental or collections of knowledge. But when we're onboarding someone, say a marketing executive or a paralegal or a new therapist or whatever that may be, and we're onboarding that person into our team, they essentially normally have a different pathway through that knowledge. And many of you are already using flows. So that's how we do that pathway. But what we realized with flows is that when we're doing this onboarding activity, not all of your onboarding activity is a document or a knowledge. you might essentially want somebody to book a meeting with someone as their second day, or do something outside of Waybook or whatever else. So we actually noticed that a lot of people using Waybook were saving tons of time onboarding their team with Waybook, but they were also having another checklist somewhere else. And that other checklist was making sure that they did everything else and giving them other documents or handouts or whatever that may be. Not anymore, my friends. Today that stops. Today we're launching tasks in flows, which basically means that you can have an activity, a task within a flow, and that can basically be a non-document activity. I'm actually really excited about it because I've already changed our onboarding elements to add some different tasks within that. But these will also have all of the permissions and abilities that a document has within a flow, which I'll show you in just a moment. So this is available in all accounts, and also it means that you can access it through your flows. But actually, let me just jump in and show you what I'm talking about. You're all being very quiet. There's quite a lot of you on this call, so do say hello. Or of course ask any questions. So here we are within the Waybook account. We're heading straight into flows. So flows, as you know, is the onboarding pathways. You can see here we've got a warehouse safety flow, we've got marketing, we've got a sales onboarding, front of house onboarding. But let's actually let's create a new flow. Zach is the first person today to say hello. So hello, Zach from Texas. Now I'm going to do this for you here, Zach. So I know that in Zach's way, but we have pilots, which is just very exciting for me. So we might have a pilot onboarding. And in this pilot onboarding, we obviously want to customize the experience, because if somebody is going through into the marketing team, we're going to prioritize the knowledge that the marketeers need slightly different to what our pilots need. So let's say on a pilot onboarding, let's add some documents in. We want them to have an introduction and a welcome to that. Then perhaps we want them to go, I don't have any pilot content in here actually, so it's perhaps not the best example, but we'll give them the brand guidelines, and then we'll give them the support tools, and we'll give them this and whatever that may be. So we've basically now customized the order that they'll go through within that. However, we now have add tasks. So if we add a task, you'll notice here that we can add in individual elements directly into that flow. So let's say I am the kind of chief pilot. Zach, I feel like I'm really butchering everything you do and what you use Waybook for. But let's say you need to schedule a call with Mike. And essentially what you can do here, you can add as much information in a flow. So you can edit this a bit like a step in a document, to be honest with you. You can add in videos, you can add in embeds, you can actually attach files to it, you can have PDFs, you can do whatever you want. But let's say, for example, we just want this person to book a call. So I can actually take this call link. What I'm going to do is actually put that in an embed. So here you'll be able to see that this is my call link, and ultimately I can then save that task. Now, once we're happy with this, obviously we can move that. So say we want them to do that as the second part of their onboarding and what they're doing. So now you'll see that they'll do this document, they'll schedule the call, they'll then go into the company history, whatever else. So now we can say, describe the flow if you want. And ultimately, the two settings that we've got are either to force the order, which means that anybody in this flow has to go through that document in that order. And you can also then enable deadlines. So the deadlines might mean that we have to do all of this in the first day, all of this in the second day. And of course, that will actually customize what that person's experience will be on Waybook, the notifications they have, how that appears on their dashboard and things like that. So when we're ready, we're going to activate that flow. And if we then go into reader mode, anybody who's in that group, you'll see that I've completed some of these. I've got some deadlines because I've already done these documents, but you'll see that as a reader, I can now come into this. I'll complete that document. It will then automatically take me on to the next step. Okay, I see what I've done here. I forced the order, so it's actually going to make me go through the document. I'll just turn that off. Let's pretend that didn't happen. So you complete that document, it will take you to the next one. And then as we go through that, it will ultimately take me to this scheduling of the call. And within the scheduling of the call, I can actually, here we've got a Calendly embed directly within that, but that can also be, as we said, documents, files, attachments, whatever you want. And once you've completed that part of that step, you literally just mark that step as complete, and it will take you on to the next activity, document, or task within that onboarding flow. Now, of course, if you're managing the onboard of somebody, all you need to do is look at reports. We can go into that report builder and we can actually look at a report based on a flow. So we can actually find that pilot onboarding, and we'll be able to see who has and hasn't completed that flow, where they've been, how far they've been through that document. And that will basically just mean that all of the knowledge is up to date and all of the information as people go through are on the same page. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is tasks within flows. I'm quite excited about it. I'm very excited to see what you what additional things you might need and how that's gonna work within it. But the people that we have had testing and using this have actually totally optimized all of their onboarding checklists and everything within the flow, and means that everything can be run from Waybook. So one report, one location for your team, and everything gets them on the same page. So that is tasks and flows. Let's move on to our second item in today. And that second item is our confirmation steps. So the confirmation steps are essentially an entirely new activity within Waybook. And essentially what this is something that you can add into each one of your documents. Now, the reason why we've looked at this is because we realized that even though people ask questions to confirm the understanding, sometimes you just want to seek agreement or get acceptance or confirmation from your team as part of your knowledge sharing or perhaps onboarding or training. Now, this is really useful just to kind of get people involved as they go through the knowledge, but also it's really important for them to use for compliance, use for tracking, and also for accountability. So you share an SOP with someone, you want them to confirm that they understand it. You might not need them to answer the questions, but just confirm they understand, confirm they accept. So what a confirmation step is essentially a stripped back node type or step type, which essentially is a single confirmation box that acts as a step within your document. Now, this is available in Pro accounts, so you'll be able to add this as a new step in any of your existing documents. So let me jump back into this Waybook document and I'll give you a bit of a view of what it is and what it looks like. So again, I'm starting here in reader mode, and I can perhaps just jump into the first document, which I have here. So within this document, we've got the knowledge, we've got the information, we've got checkboxes, we've got like a dynamic piece of information. In this one, we also have a test, so we can see the different questions that we've got within that test. But say, for example, I either want on top of that, do you agree to this policy? Do you accept this? Do you understand? I can actually add a particular type of new confirmation step. And that new confirmation step would basically just give me the option to edit the text, edit the checkbox, and edit the button. So I'm going to leave this just by default as what it is. And if I publish that change, now everybody will get the notification because I made it a major change to come in and complete this confirmation step. And basically, it looks exactly like this. By clicking agree, I acknowledge that I have read and understood the content of this document. I confirm I read this and submit the confirmation. Now, by default, you don't need to put these in because by default, somebody who is actually understanding the document, marking it as complete, that's a signal to you and the confirmation from them that they've understood it. It also, when you have tests and the knowledge review, you confirm that they understand it because you're actually testing their knowledge. So this is why this feature is really just an enhanced version of that confirmation, an enhanced version of that tracking and that accountability that you can either have at the end of some documents, or perhaps with any node type or step type, you can actually have these at any point for your document. So we've already seen some people that have a set of policies. They share a bit of information, get somebody to confirm, a bit more information, get somebody to confirm. And that's very much on the stricter compliance side, but it's entirely up to you how you wish to integrate that within your Waybook account. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is number 2, our confirmation steps. The next thing, and we are firing through this. So if you've got any thoughts, if you've got any questions, you want to slow me down, message it in the chat or in the Q&A. And hello to everyone else that has said hello as well. We're basically all from the US in the moment in the chat. So if anyone's not in the US, like me, I'm here in London, also say hello. So as we're going through this, the next thing we've got is our test completion report. So a test completion report is largely what it sounds like, but let me make it slightly less wordy and confusing. Basically, we've added this in the last month because we realized that there has been an increased tracking requirement for teams using Waybook to actually see when somebody exactly has completed a test, including when they've completed a confirmation step. And more than that, there's an enhanced request for somebody to actually see when somebody has recompleted a test, or perhaps you've changed the test, or they've come back and refreshed the document. When did they actually first complete it, and when did they last complete that test as well? So the test completion report is part of our existing reports, but now you're able to see the exact time and date that people have completed a test or a confirmation, both on that first and the last time they completed it. So let me show you this, which is always better than telling you. So I'll just jump back into this document here. So if I basically go into our reports, within the reporting, I can actually go down into a report builder. And I know for sure that if I have somebody at 100% on this subject, then they've completed all of the documents and all of the subjects within that. If I look at a specific document and choose that purpose and background, then we can basically see where people are from that piece of knowledge and that information. But if we go to a specific test, now here what we can do, if you're looking at a test report with nothing selected, you can basically see everybody's activity on all of your tests, or you can choose the specific tests that live alongside your within your knowledge, and you can filter that by the members to see who has and hasn't completed it. So if you're looking for a particular confirmation, if you're looking for a particular piece of knowledge or information that's been shared, this is what you'd want to do. Look at that test, which can also be a knowledge confirmation, and see who has and hasn't completed it. Now, the bit that is really useful here, if you look at my profile, you'll see that actually I first completed this test a year ago, but I last completed it 1 day ago. So if that test has changed, or in fact, if somebody says, do you know what, I've only recently learned this, you can say, well, actually, you proved or confirmed that a year ago. So it kind of gives you that span of knowledge, which can be used for management, tracking and compliance, and also for optimizing how we're sharing knowledge with our teams as well. So I won't labor that point because that's just a nice little addition into your reports to make sure that you've got everything that you need to stitch together. And we can move swiftly on to how we can now add members to our team a little bit easier. So I know the larger businesses amongst you within here might have your Waybook connected into a existing data source. That could be your directory sync, your single sign-on, and members get added in. But for anybody who's adding individual members in, which is actually a huge amount of Waybook accounts, it was a little bit slow to do that because I know every time you added in a new team or a new collection of onboards or people, you were actually limited to adding 10 members at one time, and you basically had to add them in individually. So now what you can do within Waybook is you can add up to 25 members, and we will be continuing to expand that. But most importantly, you can import those members from a CSV. So what you're able to do now is this is obviously available in all accounts in your members tab, and you can actually access this by looking at the add members tab within the members tab. So add members function within the members tab. So if I just click on members, And I can just show you this here. So you've got add members. Of course, what you had before was the ability to kind of write these individually, but now we can actually import from text. We can paste in from a CSV, just the comma separated values there. And actually, if I just import all of those, it will just create all of these profiles. You can continue to add into that as well if you want, and it will continue to add more and more members. And then, of course, within here, you can select actually these are authors that we want them to be within the designer group. And then every upload can go into that individual group that then you then automatically send those invites out to those people. And of course, as long as you've added them to the right groups, they automatically have access to the knowledge they need, the flows they need, and all of the deadlines will be aligned to when they were added to that account as well. So all of your onboarding and training is taken care of and looked after. So that is your the slight optimization on how we add members. The last two things we were going to show you today. This is a very small change, but it came as a request from quite a few people over the last couple of months. And this is just a small ability to edit an embed after it's been embedded. So I know it sounds like a small thing, but it was actually causing some people some difficulties. So of course we've amended that within Waybook. So now you have a much easier way of editing the content and editing the embeds that you have within Waybook. So this might be, for example, any file embeds, any web embeds, any video embeds that you've put from other sources, other tools. Now, whereas before you just added it in and then you'd have to delete and re-add it, now you can actually come back and you can edit that document, edit that embed, and that's available in the node settings, which I'll show you because that's kind of a specific term, the node settings of that document. So if we actually jump into here, if you've got an embed, you can click on this 6-dot menu, and that 6-dot menu will take you to the option to embed it. And this is sometimes if you embed a YouTube video or a Vimeo video and actually you've pulled over a fixed size or height or width or something, then of course you can just edit that embed, you can change it, you can change the document you're embedding, and then you can edit that all from your Waybook account as well. So that's, again, another smaller step, another smaller change that has been made, but is one of those small things that will hopefully just make your days a little bit lighter and a little bit easier when managing your organization's knowledge. Okay, the final thing, and we have gone through at a rate of knots right here. If you've got any thoughts or questions, do let me know. The final thing that we've got here is our shots by Waybook. So I did share this last month, so I'll keep this very, very brief. We're really excited about it, and we've heard some amazing things since you've been using it. It's something that we continue to work on, continuing to build and optimize. So do keep your feedback coming directly to us. That would be amazing. But the reason why we created this was because we know that it can take some time to create your procedures and your documentation. Personally, I've always got a Waybook account open next to me. Every time I'm doing something, I'm just bullet point listing, doing what it is, and then I kind of package that, delegate that, and hopefully spend more time on something else. But that can take a lot of discipline, that can take a lot of time, and sometimes the bullet points don't always make sense or you miss these steps. Now, because most of the procedures for a lot of our clients are actually based on our computer, what Waybook Shots does is a Chrome extension that enables you to shot each individual procedure as you go. So you've got the additional context, you've got the specific button to click, the piece of information. And the way you can access this is actually it's now available in the Chrome store. It wasn't last time, although I know a few of you actually found it. So it is now available in the Chrome store. You can search by Shots by Waybook, and it's actually available for free. It is connected to your Waybook account, but can live outside of your Waybook as well. But let me just show you what that actually looks like. So I'm on this Waybook document here, and let's say, for example, I want to show somebody a procedure of how to add a new member, because we've just done it. So I'll open up Shots, and you'll see it will come out in this individual this individual pane here, and I'll simply just click Start Recording. So now I can do my normal work. I can say, right, I need to click on members. I need to go to add member. I need to import from text. I need to click import, change to author, and then add to designer group, or whatever that may be, and then send invite. So I've basically just done the process, the procedure, the work, and you can click between lots of different things. You can do whatever you want. But what you'll notice here is that it's just screenshotted, highlighted, and demonstrated exactly what we've done in that procedure. It's created a title, it's shown why you're clicking it. And now what I'm able to do is finish that recording. And once I've finished that recording, it will essentially turn it into a shot. And that shot is essentially, it will pull a title. We can now give it a description if we want. We can give a description of each individual step. Often the image is enough with the title, but you can add a little bit more information as you go. And then your option is either to add more content to it, or you can just import that directly within your Waybook, and you choose where you want to put that in your Waybook, and it will create it as a document ready to go sitting in your Waybook. It will currently put it all as in one step within your Waybook, and then you can actually just go into that document that you've created and choose whether or not you want all of that information to be in one step, or perhaps you might actually choose to separate it by clicking the 6 dot icon and actually choosing to split that step out. And that splitting of the step will basically mean that it will then take it into the next section. So it will push that out into that next section. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. The other thing you can do, by the way, is you can also copy that share link, and actually you can then share that shot with other people. So this is a logged out view. You can make that publicly accessible. So if somebody's not in your Waybook and you just want to show someone how to do something quickly, you can create a shot, send it to them, and they've got that clear and consistent procedure, which you can use in or outside of Waybook. So, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of today's session. We have got those actually 6 main things that we've launched today, but there are a few things that we're working on which I'm really excited to show you. I actually was asked not to show you something today, because if you do come to these calls, you know often I end up showing you something that I'm not allowed to. So I've been asked not to show you this, but we have a really exciting system on internal templates. And I can't wait. So basically, what you'll be able to do is from any of your documents, you will be able to convert that document into a template, and that template will live in your template library. So what's really useful about this is if you've got other people in the business building out your team, building out your documents, you can just have an increased level of consistency across the board. Currently, lots of people are doing that by duplicating from an example template, but now it's going to live in your template library and be much easier. We're also optimizing the iOS app, which will continue to have notifications, do lots of things. We're doing a big piece of work, which is on the improved permissions to make sure it's even easier for you to make sure that the right people have access to the right knowledge and information. And of course, so much more. So if you've got any thoughts, if you've got any questions, if you've got any feedback, please do let us know. If you've been in touch with us, you know that we genuinely love speaking with you. So please keep that knowledge and information coming. And with that, I would like to thank you very much. So we've got a question here that I know Sophia has answered. So in the reports, there's a column noted as pass, but is this separate when creating the test designation? Right, I think yeah, okay. So on this, as Sophia said, you've basically got the option as is passed. Within that passed, it basically means that they have passed that test. What we'll do straight after this is we will send the same email as always, launching these features, and a link to that Help Center article. So actually, if you ever just want to double check that something does or doesn't make sense, you can do that. The other thing with this is what you'll see here is the kind of like high level date. So the high level date is whether it's 1 day ago, a couple of months ago, a year ago. If you can then save those documents, of course, and view back those saved reports, or actually you can export it as a PDF. Oh, sorry, as a CSV. And then within that export, you'll be able to see the exact time and the exact date. And actually, let me just I will show you this as I'm here. You'll be able to see the exact time, the exact date, the score that they got on that test, the percentage of completion on that test as well. So all of that information is within that. So if you want to get to that next level of granularity, you can do that already from an export. If you find yourself doing having to export things to see knowledge that you want really easily available, do let us know, and we will, of course, continue to optimize these reports. It's a fine balance between making sure that you have access to all of the knowledge you need when you need it, or rather than kind of overwhelming you with the kind of management of your documents as well. So please do let us know. So thank you so much. I'm looking around for any other thoughts or questions. Thank you, John. Very kind as always. John is another a fellow Brit here in Newcastle, I believe, so a bit more north of me. But if there's no other thoughts or questions, thank you, Zach, I will call this a day. So once again, thank you so much. We're so excited to continue to grow with you and help you get your business on the same page. So thanks so much for all you do. Please keep the conversations coming. Please share the good word of Waybook. If you found some value or benefit in it, let us know and let everybody else know, because we're excited to get it in as many hands as possible. We appreciate everything that you do, and we wish you the very best. And I look forward to seeing you back here in March, believe it or not, next month. So until then, have a great one and enjoy some smooth scaling. Take care now.